Hey guys, welcome back to another podcast, Cast of Salt, number 21, I think. 21.
That's a large number.
I know, we can now drink in America. How about that, guys? Okay, cool. So today we've got myself, Adam, and we've got Ryan.
Yo.
And Carl. We have also Carl, audio friendly there.
Oh, right. Yes, hello.
Carl waved at the camera.
He's just like, Jesus, man.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry. It's been ages since I've been on the podcast.
That is true.
Gotta get myself back in the mindset.
We're missing Binyamin today. Like he just couldn't make it in. So I'm hosting this, and we know how that turned out in like podcast 8. Binyamin banned me because I did that badly.
Wow. Okay.
So I've returned to my throne, and let's see how it goes. But cool. So we've got some really cool stuff today. But first of all, how's everyone been going?
Yeah, not bad. I had a LAN last night, actually.
Oh,
kicking it old
bringing
school.
back 1995 in strong style.
Oh, you know it, man. But
Hang on. 1995? That's a bit early, isn't it?
Maybe 2003.
Kicking it like it's a 95. Playing
Scorched
SimCity Classic before it was
Like,
Classic.
Earth.
When did Warcraft 2 come out?
Fuck. Before 98?
Yeah.
About 98?
So, but 95's a bit
Well,
early.
StarCraft 2 came out. Sorry, StarCraft 2. StarCraft 1 came out in 98.
Yeah.
98, okay.
So that's the golden age of LAN
98.
right there.
A few years back. So have fun.
Yes, we played Left 4 Dead. Well, technically Left 4 Dead 2, but all the Left 4 Dead 1 maps.
Only OG maps.
Only OG map. Well, I mean, it wasn't that we wanted to play Left 4 Dead 1 versus Left 4 Dead 2. It was that the three people I was playing with hadn't really played Left 4 Dead before. And Left 4 Dead 2 maps are a little bit more...
A bit weird.
Weird and open. Like Left 4 Dead 1 maps are pretty much like, get from A to B, and there might be an event in the middle.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I really like the, from the OG maps, the first hospital one.
Yeah,
I think that's nostalgic, because that's everyone's first level, pretty much.
Well, that's the thing. So everyone loves No Mercy and Dead Air, which is the...
Yeah, Dead Air's really good one
airplane
too.
one.
Yeah. I like the Carnival though in 2. That's really fun.
Carnival's okay. But yeah...
Dead Air's the iconic one for me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
We played a lot of Dead Air back then.
Yeah.
That's really good.
But yeah, no, it's pretty funny. So yeah, we did that, and then other than that, yeah, not much. Just
cool.
Just game and
Provable proof.
Provable proof.
That Left 4 Dead 1 is superior. That you play it even when you play Left 4 Dead 2.
yeah. But you still. But the thing is, like, even on
Provable proof. What the hell? Jesus.
Very yeah.
We're professional presenters, apparently.
Yeah, but even in Left 4 Dead 2 with the Left 4 Dead 1 maps, you still get like all the Left 4 Dead 2 weapons, all the enemies spawn. Like you get the spitter, the jockey, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. It's still better.
Yes. Yeah. So Carl, what about you?
I'm continuing to play the WoWs.
That's not like you, Carl.
I know. It's such a change.
Such a departure.
I mean, where do you think I've been the last couple of weeks? Now I've also played a fair amount of board games recently as well.
Cool. Okay. So what board games did you play?
I wanted to well, that's why I borrowed your copy of Betrayal, because I wanted to introduce it to some friends.
Highly recommended.
Went down pretty well. Thought it was pretty good. Now, the one that they introduced to me, that same group, was Through the Ages.
Okay.
Which is it's a long game, but it's very. I'm probably going to try and track down a copy for myself.
Cool.
Because it impressed me that much. I don't know. I don't actually know how much it costs, so I could have just signed myself up for God knows how much.
A lot of money.
Whatever.
Man, indie board games are a fucking expensive hobby.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's great. It's pretty much Civilization, the board game.
Okay.
That's cool.
It's got a lot of really cool mechanics, and
I
it's just really
I must
well
admit
designed.
that scares me more than it interests me.
Really? Why's that?
No, Civilization, like the video games. I tried playing them once, and I was like, yeah, this is just way too intense for me.
Well, it is intense, but not unmanageably so. It's not sort of like... So, you've tried to play the Game of Thrones board game, haven't you?
Yeah.
So that for me is the epitome of a game that's complex for the sake of being complex, and it's not like that. Through the Ages has a lot of rules, but they're all there they all have purpose, and they all interact really nicely together.
Okay, cool. That sounds like fun. I mean, there's a lot, like, Civilization's like a pretty popular franchise, and I think it makes sense to make it into a
Well, it's not. It's not. I think there actually is a Civilization board game, which is not as good.
Okay, well then, play Through the Ages, everyone.
I mean, I haven't played it. That's just what I've heard. It might be fantastic. I don't want to Tell people that it's shit when I haven't even played it. You know,
Well,
this game that I've never heard of, it's fucking terrible.
I convinced our office to they were buying a whole bunch of board games because we want to kind of get like just a office stockpile.
Yep.
And they're like, oh, we'll buy like Connect 4 and stuff. And I was like, okay, how about we start with Exploding Kittens and go from there? And that game is fucking great.
Yeah.
So if you've played,
that's an interesting.
it's the game. It's the card game for anyone that hasn't played it before. It's illustrated by the cartoonist that does the Oatmeal. So it's very, very well illustrated, very fun game. Really easy to play. Like I got a couple of people playing with me on Friday that were like, oh, I don't really know how I kind of like. They're not people like, oh yeah, let's go. And then within a few rounds, they're like, this game's fucking awesome, and we're just like playing.
That
really
was
easy
kind
to
of
learn.
that was kind of
10
like
minutes.
us when we started the social gaming here as well.
Yeah.
It was like we had people going, oh no, I don't play games. I'm not a video game. I was like, well, no, it's okay. We're not playing video games.
No,
for
just-
starters. It was just board games. B, it's just about having fun and having a laugh.
Yeah, man.
Right. And so we played Werewolf for the first game.
Yeah, I remember that. That was fun.
And that was so much fun.
That went down
and
pretty well.
everyone
Well,
loved it. We should probably bring that back.
That's an interesting topic actually. So like we've been sort of in the board games into the board games thing for a while now. Like what have you had the most success with in trying to introduce the concept to people that are not familiar? To whom board games means Connect 4 and Uno.
Yeah, well,
if you
so
want to sort of bring them up to date on what state of the art now, what do you
basically
go for?
for me that would be straight up Cards Against Humanity for the first one, right? So if like
Well, you have to pick your targets carefully for that, don't
yeah,
you?
you do.
Yeah.
But if you know your targets and they're just going, oh no, I don't play card games, whatever. It's like, okay, this is like card game 101, right? It's like you get cards, you play cards, everyone laughs.
Oh, Carl, have you played $1 Million But yet? I remember you bought that when
Yeah.
you were at PAX.
Yeah.
Any good?
It was okay.
Yeah.
It's it wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
I think
it's a similar style to Cards Against
yeah.
Humanity, kind of. That's what reminded me of it.
I think the guys that I played it with were familiar with Cards Against Humanity, and I think they ended up preferring that.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair enough.
But we'll break it out sometime.
There's the one. There's
mind playing that
one.
with
There's
you.
one actually doing the rounds at the moment, which is basically Cards Against Humanity, but it's purely meme based.
I saw that.
So
I saw
yeah,
the ad
so-
for that.
so
I was so
basically-
close in tagging you in that because it's one of those Facebook videos popping around.
Yeah,
I thought, this is fucking Ryan's game.
So
My
you
God.
basically you play the black card and then you got to assign pictures to the
Like
the
caption memes and shit.
I don't know.
It's called. What's the game
don't
called?
know.
It's meme.
I don't know. We'll put it. We'll find it. We'll put a link in the description. Or
okay.
Something, but
Damn,
I
fuck
am
me.
cautious about
Yeah.
that concept because that has to be executed incredibly well if it's not going to be
Well,
cringe-tastic.
I find the difficulty thing with Cards Against Humanity and a lot of those kind of games is that they do lose replayability, and then they're like, "Oh, we can buy expansion packs." I'm like, I don't want to pay an extra $20 or $30 just to keep playing. Like, it is hard to get longevity out of those games.
I agree. I think though that the replayability comes out of introducing more people to the game though.
That is true.
So like you play it with new people, and then it's even more fun for you because everyone's getting
Getting
all
the
the
shot
shit
face.
for the new.
So
stuff.
what else have we been successful in breaking people in with?
Um,
I've heard code words is pretty good.
I'd say
Code words?
I'd
Yeah.
also
Bring people in.
say Betrayal actually
Betrayal. Yeah,
because as my first quote unquote indie game purchase, indie board game purchase I should say. I played it with my friends, right? And again, my friends weren't really board card game people, and now they are.
Well, I bought
there
it.
you
I
go.
bought it. I played that with you once, and then I bought my own copy of that game, and I've played with my friends. It's really fun. It's such a fucking great game.
Yeah.
But what's the full title? Just to fit.
Betrayal at House on the Hill.
Yeah, it's great. It's such a fucking fun game.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway.
It's a great game. It gets better if you're familiar with like really trashy horror movie.
Oh
tropes.
yeah, it's super fun. If you love your B grade horror movies and like
It's kind of like what's that
you-
murder game? The murder mystery game that you can like. It's like such and such did like killed the person.
Oh,
with
that's Cluedo.
yeah, Cluedo.
Like,
It's kind of
that's
like
old-
Cluedo.
That's old school, man.
I know, but it's kind of like
Yeah.
Cluedo in that sense
Yeah.
because like you
The way the house
depending on
moves
how
and
you
stuff.
how you draw cards for the house and that sort of stuff. It depends on what
But
scenario you get.
it'd be like Cluedo if you were blind, if you start the game blindfolded,
Yeah.
kind of thing. It's very fun. But yeah. So
It's
yeah.
also more supernatural themed
Yeah.
than Cluedo. Cluedo's
Yeah.
Cluedo's like a very traditional sort of like murder mystery. Agatha
of course.
Agatha Christie.
Whodunit.
yeah.
Yeah.
Where like the thing is, that game is like if you like watching Cabin in the Woods. then the board game is for you. If you're a fan of Cabin in the Woods, then you play that board game.
That's a pretty good comparison, actually, isn't it?
Yeah, that's good. But yeah, so for me, basically, I haven't been doing too much. I've been trying to play some more Prey, which is pretty fun, and then also getting into been trying to do more Yu-Gi-Oh, and it's slowly killing me. I won't get into too much.
Hey, you're playing when you say Yu-Gi-Oh, you're not talking about like the face-to-face card game. You're talking about Dual Network, right?
I am playing. Yeah. So I'm playing more. I'm trying to start because the free to play, so it's effectively Pokemon Showdown, like for Yu-Gi-Oh, but then that got shut down because it was like unlicensed. So
what did I call it? What's it actually called?
Dual Network.
Is that what it's actually called?
Dual Network.
Okay.
And then there's another one that opened up which I haven't gotten the client for yet, but I'm gonna get that and then we'll play some shit. Then we'll play. But I've also been researching like cards to build and stuff, like deck building, because I want to actually buy some physical cards.
Yep.
But you got to like invest in the meta and spend hours. Like Carl knows all about this from Magic. Like it's fucking takes you forever to.
Sorry. What I was dealing with my phone being badly behaved.
No, it's like getting into the meta is like trying to stepping into like Magic the Gathering and being like, okay, I got to remember all these cards and what's the meta and what's the. Blah, blah, blah.
It's not just that.
Before you go out and drop $500 on a fucking deck that you realize is useless after you bought it.
Unlike like Pokemon, where you can actually play, you can buy a $60 game and a $200 device and play the game, and then you don't have to spend more on the game.
I'm glad that you specified that because the Pokemon card game is very much like the others.
I know, that's why I said video game. But my point is like you were talking about the meta, like trying to get into like a game's
where if you're playing.
I really want to come back to Magic the Gathering at the moment.
Yeah.
Because I was playing Hearthstone a lot like earlier this year, but I kind of got tired of it.
Well, I like playing casually, but competitive MTG is just not for me.
I kind of got tired of it, but I want to start playing competitive MTG again, and the decks are still so expensive, man.
They are. Well, Yu-Gi-Oh is like a fifth of the price of a deck. Even the top tier deck is like $500-$600. That's like really mint. Where in comparison, MTG decks can run you up thousands of dollars.
In the Eternal formats, yeah. But even in standard, I mean, like just even on standard, dropping like $400 on a deck just doesn't fill me with joy. It's just sort of like, well, how much do I really want to play this game?
Yeah.
It's one of those things that I feel like it's one of those things that once you buy in the first time and you have fun, then it's then it all becomes worth it, Yeah. But it's just overcoming that initial inertia is a pain.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing as well. I like going in sealed tournaments because like you just get a deck card, you play with them, you get to keep the deck afterwards. And you have like a themed blue block you can play with your friends.
But it's even why stuff like Showdown on like the Pokemon side is so popular because like the amount of effort and time it takes to build a team, right, versus just throwing together a team or grabbing someone else's team and just being like, I'll play this.
Yeah. But so we'll move on to our topics, and because we need a catchy title because this is YouTube, we've become memes.
Oh man, I'm a meme.
We're memes. It's official. So
not us specifically.
Australians in general. So
when our situation becomes so bad, it becomes a meme.
Yeah, I know. So
what are we talking about, Adam?
For those not in the know about this, smashed avos. I don't know. I like my smashed avo.
Are you sure you don't mean avocado on toast?
No,
Adam?
I don't. I'm sick of fucking reading American articles calling avocado toast. Jesus fucking Christ! It's smashed avo. It's a smashed
Get it
avo.
right, America.
You guys are coming in here taking our culture and our memes, and then you like call it avocado toast. I don't know how to feel about that.
Maybe they're cross baiting us.
Man,
maybe that's the whole thing. Maybe instead
of
that they've heard about this meme and they're like, we can bait Australians into this. Oh yes, it's avocado on toast, guys.
But so we've like I didn't even realize this, so I think I must have missed a lot because the original article that we're referring to was about a month ago. I think now was
maybe a bit longer, maybe 2 months,
maybe a bit longer. And it was Sydney housing and not just smashed avocados, but it's all to do with Sydney housing price. Sydney, not just Sydney, but Australian housing prices,
but specifically Sydney
and Melbourne, pretty much, are fucked absolutely horrendously fucked.
So let's recap. What's the median deposit you need for a house in Sydney?
Oh, well, I'll get to that in a second.
Oh, okay.
So I like this happened like 2 months ago, and we were like, okay, well, I mean, it's a thing, but like, people, we don't really care. We care, but like, our central gaming audience probably doesn't really give too much of a shit about housing prices, so we just didn't talk about it. But since then, the article only recently, maybe like a week or 2 or 3 weeks ago, the articles started popping up in Time Magazine, in like Variety, like in all these big American publications of being like, hey, this crazy shit's going on in Australia where fucking rich yuppies are blaming the Australian millennials for spending money on smashed avos and cafe coffees, and that's why we're poor and we can't afford a house.
Yeah.
So
actually, because the original article was a minister or a politician.
Oh, there was a few. There's been actually a few. Like
but the point is
there's one every few months.
Yeah, but the point is the original smashed avo quote came from a politician or someone high up anyway.
Yes.
And he was basically just going like, if millennials want to start affording houses, they need to stop spending their money on smashed avos and lattes. Basically.
Yeah.
Right. And so
which I find fucking offensive.
Which is completely out of touch with everything that is like we struggle to buy a Coke.
Yeah. So the funny thing is, and like this is coming from a dude who lives in Newtown. In like this is
a ritzy suburb,
living in smashed avocado central, essentially.
Exactly, that lives next to a cafe who shifts it. Oh, where the fuck? Okay, we might need to.
Okay, pause.
Okay. Oh god. Okay,
and we're back.
So yeah, as we were saying before, so we've been having a lot of these issues with housing prices, and we've been having these like out of touch commentators, politicians, Sydney businessmen, in this case Melbourne businessmen, saying, "Oh yeah, like if people just save more, they'll afford a house."
So So some of the best reactions to this, right? So the best one I saw was, I think it was Domain or it was one of the
realestate.com.au. I've got the article here.
Yeah, realestate.com.au made a smashed avo calculator. So it's like, if you stopped buying smashed avocado on toast every day...
Got it right here. Guardian did one as well.
So if you stop buying it, it will take you 873 years to afford a house in Sydney.
A $20... So we've got some stats here, because I didn't want to start talking shit, because there are some legitimate points behind this. I do think, as a whole, we are spending more money on travel and other things that aren't necessarily asset building, which is fine, because I think that's like... It's a good way of like...
How dare some people want to live?
Well, yeah, if you want to travel and like... I don't think there's much more... Because, with technology, the world has gotten a lot smaller, that people want to go out and experience more and see more. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. And if you want to spend your money, then sure. I don't completely blame, like, I can't afford a house, I can't do this shit. Because, like, I spent all of my 20s funding a fencing career and traveling multiple times a year, spending up to, like, 15 grand a year, going out. And also with my parents' help, but in the end, just me as well, of financing this. So I might have had a deposit for a house by now, but I chose not to do that. So I understand that that's my decision, and I do want to get into the housing market at some point, but I know at this moment it's not for me, and it's going to take me longer than normal. Having said that, though, there's a lot of people, and Ryan, I think you're definitely one of these people who don't go traveling every year, who don't go out and get lavish fucking cafe meals and all these kind of things, and these aren't staples for you, and you save as much for housing to get a deposit to buy your own home, and it's just like it's so far. You feel like there's just so far out of your own reach, and you're like, well,
so let's recap. How much does it cost?
So
for a median,
a 20% deposit, which is pretty standard, right? That's
for someone that's never had a mortgage before. They're basically, banks will turn around and say you need a 20% deposit.
Yeah, so 20% deposit on median house price in Sydney is $204,000 Australian. So for American market, that's about what, $140,000 USD.
Yeah, okay, yeah, at 70% exchange rate or whatever.
Roughly, yeah, ish. But yeah, so $204,000 in Sydney. They said if you can save $100 a week, this will take you 26.8 years
to get the deposit
down.
That's for a 40-year mortgage.
If you skip the Avo on toast once a week, it's 23 years. So you're saving 3 years there. That's your Avo on toast. That's how much you're saving.
That's assuming you buy Avo on toast every morning.
Exactly.
Every morning, as opposed to maybe like the once or twice a week, which it might be for most people.
So the thing is,
or once a week, basically.
Yeah. So it is true that every little bit counts, and we're saying like when people like this come out and go, oh, you know, fucking smashed Avo, like, you know, you should be saving more and you shouldn't be spending all these things, and we didn't do that, and look where we got.
Let's just cut straight to the heart of the issue that we take with these commentators.
Yeah.
We'll take, for example, the most recent article, the one that sort of sparked the current round of like wide-ranging comment on this issue.
Yep.
The guy that wrote that article bought into the property market originally with inheritance.
Yes. So he got $34,000 of inheritance money to buy his first property, and this was right before the property boom.
Yep.
Yeah.
In like 2005,
so like
I think. And you're just like, well then, congratulations, you were born at the right moment with family money.
Yeah.
And once you're into that market, he was like, well, I'm like, yeah, it's probably true. You probably didn't, like, if you were given $34,000, there's a lot of idiots who would just fucking be like, I'm just going to blow it.
That's a new car and a sound system for the car, you know?
Yeah, credit to the dude. He invested the money wisely and he got into the market and he made a lot of money and he's worth like couple $1 billion now. I'm not shitting on his achievements whatsoever, but he has to understand, or people like that have to understand that not everyone's that lucky. People would have, other people in his situation would have also put that money into the property market. But we didn't get that opportunity.
Yeah. The other big thing that's happened, so you hear that there are a few commentators that say, oh, well, you know, back in the 80s, we had to compete with 17% interest rates and that sort of stuff. And it's like, well, that's all well and good. You know, okay, fair enough. You had huge interest rates on your loans and all this sort of stuff. Interest rates being as low as they has encouraged investment. Deregulation of investment has encouraged investment. Foreign investment has increased. The
negative gearing.
Well, that's the thing. In the 80s, property investment, it was a thing. It existed.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a huge thing.
Well, yeah.
At least in Australia, it wasn't. Like, I'm not speaking about the rest of the world. So what you have at the moment is you have millennials who want a house. You have baby boomers who have maybe one house, maybe two as an investment property.
Yeah.
Then you have the serious investors with portfolios of 10 plus houses.
Yep.
Right? These three types of people are competing for houses in Sydney and Melbourne.
Yep. And thing is, and there's been a lot of initiatives like first home buyers grant and everything, which did work to a minor degree. But the problem is when they ended up taking that away though. But no,
I disagree. First home buyer scam was a scam, and always first home buyers grant. I said first home buyers scam. That's what I think about it. Yeah. It's a fucking scam. All the first home buyers grant does is increase the price of a house by that much. That's it.
Yes.
That's all it does.
But the thing is, that only started happening once the home buyers grant stopped.
Disagree.
Really? Because
No.
when we're
like,
in there,
it's
then
like-
you've got median, you've
Okay.
got house prices low, and then people can't afford it anymore.
First home buyers are going to be going after the low end of the market, right? If you give $30,000 or however much it was to everybody that's trying to enter the market, the lowest price goes up by that much.
Potentially, maybe what they need to do with those kind of grants is actually enable like more stringent of who gets that kind of money, not just first home buyers in general, because that means a first home buyer in general that has family money, that has all these bonuses already given to them. They go in and go, oh, I get extra 15 grand.
So how political are we allowed to get here?
Oh, very.
I think. Well, the thing is, like, I believe if you can make an argument for your case, I'm going to support that.
But having said that,
what we need to do is we as a community, as a country,
yes,
as a society, need to decide is what is housing for? Is housing for people to live in, or is housing an investment vehicle? And then we need to make that decision, and then we need to actually adjust our policy so that it supports the way that we want it to be.
But that's the thing, right? So they made that decision about 5-10 years ago when they started to deregulate investments.
Yeah, they made that decision 5-10 years ago, and they decided housing is an investment vehicle. It's not for people to live; it's an investment vehicle.
Yeah.
We obviously don't agree with that because
we're the ones trying to fucking buy a house.
We think it's dumb.
We should write to our politician, right?
So and now when our current crop of politicians are like, we're very concerned about housing affordability. No, you're fucking not.
Yeah.
You don't give a shit because if you did, you would actually be tackling the root of the problem rather than dancing all around the edges.
Well, that's the thing as well. Like, everyone's afraid to get rid of things like negative gearing and like benefits to make investments, to give the edge to investment people rather than people that want to live there. And I think it will create an issue because realistically, if you own a place, if you own a home in Newtown, if you own a home in Penrith, if you own a home in Sutherland, I think when you own property, you give a shit more about your community and you give back to your community, and it creates more of a culture rather than like a transient renting culture of being like, fuck it, I don't care about the garbage on the street, I don't care about this. I think
because I'm only here temporarily, I can be thrown out at any time.
And that's the thing. And that's the thing. When you do see like a lot of rentals, you start to see not like degradation of the area, but you start to see like things don't get fixed, right? There'll be a broken gutter on a building, and no one reports it because they're like, oh, it's not my problem. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the thing. Whereas if you have the people living there, they go, oh crap, this is my apartment building, right? I'm living in this apartment, and that gutter is dripping water all down my window.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Fuck this shit and get started.
And we're not always saying like, because we understand that more people want to live in the center of Sydney, in the center of Melbourne, and it's not always reasonable to be like, I want a fucking huge house in the center of Newtown.
Not gonna happen.
You're within 5k of the CBD, not gonna happen. You got to be reasonable, but it might be like, if you want to live in that position, what's the problem in owning an apartment, in owning flat? Because then having a block of flats that still have strata boards and all those kind of things, but it's maintained by the owners, and the owners of each individual flat still give a fuck about the building in general. Not the landlord that's just like, I don't know, we'll fix it when we fix it. Like,
my other argument against the way that things are at the moment is that there's a lot of jobs that go on in the city where people don't earn six figures.
No. Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And if they can't live within 50 k's of the city, how the hell are they going to get there?
Ding.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I think it is like a big issue, and it's funny that a lot of the people here so Tim Gurner, who was the one that kicked off the most recent person to kick off the whole smashed Ava debate, a lot of it comes down to like, he's just saying, oh, you know, we should be able to, like, you shouldn't expect to just buy a house. I'm like, well, I disagree with that, A. But B, he's like, well, you know, you should be able to, you got to expect to maybe move home with your parents for a bit, or buy an investment property first to then buy it. And I'm like, that's the same cycle. Because the only way that I've been looking to buy a property in an area that we'd like to live in, is that if I bought a property first in Goulburn and rented it out and got rental money, and then used that property as an asset to buy. And the thing is, and people, that's normal now.
I think you'll find that a lot of investors don't even bother renting their property out. They just take the loss and use it as a tax dodge. Maybe.
The other thing as well, I think personally that there needs to be some decentralization of Sydney and Melbourne, I think
it's hard when there's so much business in that area.
But that's the point. I think there need to be bigger incentives to try and encourage businesses to move out of the CBD.
Have a Silicon Valley-esque startup in Wollongong, in Newcastle,
or make Newcastle the banking capital of Australia and have all the banks try and push all the banks.
It would help if there wasn't, like, for most information careers, exactly one city per state.
Yeah. That's the thing.
And the difficulty of that is, with Australia in particular, of being such a large country, like spatially, is that when you go, okay, we'll move everything to Newcastle, but then we have to build the infrastructure for Newcastle. We have to build airports. Because people are flying in internationally. Newcastle doesn't have an international airport, neither does Wollongong.
But so that's the thing, right? They're building a new international airport out in the middle of Western Sydney?
Badgerys Creek.
So what I'm saying is, instead of building it to service Sydney, build it to service another area, and then encourage businesses to move to a different area.
Yep.
That way, that you would encourage your workers to move to a different area, or hire them from that area. You know, that way, reducing the stress that is placed on big metropolises like Sydney and Melbourne.
I think when it kind of boils down to it from our perspective, that it does come down to a lot of. I think we've been given in some ways we've been given more choice with cheaper airfares. Cheaper airfares.
Nice words, Adam.
More touring options. Like people are going out and seeing the world more often. And I think that's a great thing. And I think people have more choice in what to do. But the thing is, I think we're restricting the choice in a way of being like, well, people are traveling more because realistically, what else are they going to do? They still don't. Even if they saved everything, they still don't have enough to buy a house.
But even then, we're not even.
So of course, they're going to go traveling.
So I mean, none of us here have kids.
No.
Some of us may be thinking about kids in the future, but that's neither here nor there. The problem that we're seeing is that millennials in general are having kids, right? So
you mean aren't? Are or aren't?
Well,
but they're having them at a much lower rate than previous generations.
They are, and that's the thing. What we're doing is we're seeing, obviously, like everyone's talking about, the aging population, right? So the younger generation isn't having kids because the younger generation doesn't have a home to grow those kids in.
Yes, and the thing is, I think
when you say like people are traveling and stuff, yeah, that might be the case for some people, but it's definitely not the case for others. I know a lot of people that are couples that are married, and they're like, we're just going to hold off having kids until we can find a place.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, I think there is a lack of choice in that option because there's definitely a lack of choice because realistically, it's like you can fucking buy your smashed Avo and your coffees because at the end of the day, it's such an infinitesimally small percentage of living a higher lifestyle than scrimping and saving and still not being even close to what you need. So people go, well then fuck it. If I'm going to spend 30 years and not get what I want, I might as well spend 35 years
and get other things that I want.
And get some things that I want along the way. Because then I'm just 30 years of fucking pain and misery. It reminds me of a quote
that someone was saying. They worked at like a nursing home looking after old people, and there was this 90-year-old apparently. And he was saying like going on about millennials spending too much money. He's like, I never went out for dinner. I never went to the club and spent money. I never gambled. I never did this and that. And look at me now. It's like, yeah, you're 90 years old and living in a nursing home. It's like you didn't live your life.
Well, that's the thing as well. I think people get exposed to the more choice, the better. If you want to do that, and no consequences behind it, obviously. Like if you go and spend $15,000 a year traveling, not a problem. But expect that you probably won't be able to just walk into the housing market and be like, hey, I want a place to live without paying rent. There's not much we can do for you. I'm sorry, but if you are someone that wants the Australian dream, because that really is what we've for a very long time have classified as the Australian dream, owning your own home. And if that's something that appeals to you, you should be able to not have to pull a fucking 6-figure plus salary to be able to afford that. I think
to be able to afford a house
somewhere. Yeah, it's not even a question of like, and I don't want to be 4 hours away from my job. Like it just seems very reason. Like it seems like a pretty basic.
I mean,
people get it.
I mean, if only we had like high-speed internet so we could telecommute from wherever we wanted.
I know.
Wouldn't that be great?
That's also an infrastructure thing that people just don't understand. I mean,
and that's the other thing. And again, you don't have to force maybe like head office to move, but what about satellite offices? Why does everyone have to go to the same office?
I know I'm kind of butt mad about this, and I try and sandwich it into every political conversation that we have, but it just grates on me so much.
Aliens land and start offering, like the world, like untold riches, and Carl's just like, still can't get my goddamn internet.
Well, excellent segue there. Aliens and high-speed internet. Last Friday, or Friday for us, Thursday for the US crowd.
Aliens landed?
Close. Destiny 2.
That's real fucking tenuous.
That's a tenuous thing. It's about aliens, right? It's about aliens and high-speed internet. The high-speed internet's coming, I swear to God. So, yeah, it dropped. Destiny 2 release dropped. Game looks good, personally. I was like, I'm excited. I think it'll be good. But that's not what really interested me from the release. I mean, it looks good, looks fun. Nathan Fillion's in it. I'm gonna play it.
Well, I might be able to play this one because it's on PC.
Yes. So the PC release looks good. Like it looks like they've taken a lot of feedback, and even in general from the gameplay, a lot of people things that even I bitched. I mean, I love Destiny, but I still had problems with it. I was like, not enough story, not enough blah blah blah. I had issues. So did everyone. Whether you liked or hated or loved the game, there was always issues. But they seem to have taken the feedback and been like, okay, we're gonna fix the story. We're going to make it a more story-driven experience.
Fix the story.
Make a story, effectively.
Before it was literally Borderlands without the story.
Pretty much. Well, Borderlands didn't have much of a story either.
No, find the vault.
Yep. Yeah, well, that's basically
there's a vault out there. You got to find it.
Yep. Yep. Oh, you didn't find it? End of the game.
Congrats, you found it. Kill the big monster.
Yep.
Spoilers.
But fucking what? 11-year-old game.
Yeah, 11, 12-year-old game.
Yeah. So personally, the game looks very good, but the PC version. So they've come out and everyone.
The politically correct version.
The politically correct version. So there's no more. There's no. Oh, I'm not gonna make that joke. Okay. So yeah, that's close. Walking the line on that one. Yeah. But the PC version, it's not even about there will be a PC version. It's where that PC version will be. So it's going to be on exclusively to the Blizzard client, which I think is a fucking great idea, personally.
Which traditionally has been only Blizzard games.
Only Blizzard games, as the name suggests. So
does that mean Destiny's a Blizzard game? No, but it's going to be on it anyway.
But it is owned, but Blizzard is owned by Activision.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
And Destiny is a Bungie game, but its publisher is Blizzard.
Activision.
Blizzard
Activision.
Black Division.
It's Activision. So they're all owned under the same umbrella. So we're Black Division. Jesus Christ.
Oh my! Bit of a delayed reaction.
Oh my
there,
God.
I was waiting for him to.
I just talking. I was just like, what the fuck did I just hear? God damn it. Black Division. I wish I could say my joke about the PC version was going to be that good, but it wasn't. That was a good one. So yeah. So
that's great. When you're playing Destiny 2, you'll be able to see how much WoW I play.
Yeah.
When you're playing Destiny 2, you'll be able to go, oh hey, you can purchase this Hearthstone hero.
Well, what you can.
Oh God, if they start doing
they will.
Did I?
It won't be heroes, but it will be like cosmetics.
It won't be inside Destiny though, because they won't.
You never know, dude.
I don't think so.
It'll be character profiles and stuff, because that's what I mean. Okay, that's what StarCraft and
We'll come back.
WoW does.
We'll come back to Hearthstone sleeves and shit like that.
Yeah. We'll come back to the other. We'll come back to the other implications in a second.
Yes.
But I just want to make this point while I think of it. Blizzard are evil, bloody geniuses.
They're great
when it comes to cross promotion.
I think it's a fantastic idea.
Okay, so I have a lot of friends that are into Overwatch. They love the shit out of that game. They think it's the best thing ever.
Yeah.
Blizzard successfully got them to care about Heroes of the Storm through cross promotion.
Yep.
And none of them have ever.
It's genius.
Appeared to be interested at all in MOBA games.
Yeah.
And Blizzard got them to play a MOBA.
Yep. Well, I think
skins, and then once they got the skins, they ended it, right?
Some of them are still playing.
There you go.
Well, but I think it is good. Like, it's not like Blizzard have also made a good set of games, and there's nothing wrong with cross promoting your games, especially in a way that feels natural and isn't like, hey, like you get free stuff and you get good things in both of your games. If you start this one, you get some Overwatch content, and you get some Overwatch content in Heroes of the Storm. So
I wonder if that means that they're going to add Destiny characters to Heroes of the Storm. Wouldn't that be funny?
Yes. They very well. I wouldn't be surprised if they did the Nathan Fillion character, the Cade 6, or the main heroes. That I think that'd be a great idea. And the thing is, bonus content, I'm not complaining. It's when you start getting to the paywalls and that kind of thing, they're like, okay, that's the bad way to do cross promotion. I think the way Blizzard does it's fine. Like they're getting you into playing more of their games and spending money in those games, but you're still having fun. Yeah. You're not like, oh man, this is just like.
But realistically, like
this is shit.
Like when you look at it, we're talking about the Blizzard client or the Battle.net client. As Blizzard was
it's actually a really good point. As well.
But we're talking about a client that had 6 games. Right? It had WoW, it had Diablo 3, it had StarCraft 2, Hearthstone, and Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah. And Overwatch.
And now Overwatch.
Yep.
Right? So, I mean, cross-promotion between them is pretty much natural because they're all coming from the same person, the same developer. They've got similar sort of art styles. Yep. You know, you throw a cosmetic from one game into a different game and it doesn't matter. And
there's no issues with like other party developers and rights and that kind of thing. It's natural. It's very easy to do and they can do it on their own back.
So I was going to say as well, but this is certainly not the first time a cross promotion has been done, and certainly not the first time it's been successful either.
So now the announcement came with the details saying that Destiny 2 is going to be a first class. It's not just going to be like and Destiny 2. It's going to become a first class member of the Blizzard client.
It will.
It'll be on the sidebar.
Yep.
It'll be integrated into the friends system, the achievement system,
Yep.
the battle tag system,
Which is the right way to do it.
all that
Absolutely.
jazz.
So it should be.
And it's funny thing as well. So they've got a couple of quotes here. So I've got the announcement article. You can just find it on the Blizzard website. So they said, why are you adding a non-Blizzard game to Blizzard's platform? They're like, oh, we love Destiny and think Destiny 2 is going to be a great game. We're offered to share PC platform with our sister companies for this release.
That's a very diplomatic. That's a very diplomatic and non-committal answer.
So they say, and then it's like, does this mean other games are going to come to the Blizzard platform too? And they say our focus in terms of supporting non-Blizzard games is solely around Destiny 2. Aside from potentially evaluating the needs or opportunities of future Activision games, we don't have any short or long-term plans to support third-party games with Battle.net. Also hilarious because the whole article they call it Battle.net, and I'm like, you just rebrand it Blizzard client, motherfuckers. Like,
yeah, but now they're turning around and going, well, it's not just Blizzard, so we're gonna have to go back to something.
Go back to Battle.net, fuck.
So
they call it Battle.net like 6 times. Like, fucking Blizzard client, Battle.net.
All right, so I'm gonna go all Nostradamus and I'm gonna make a prediction. Call of Duty World War II on the Blizzard client.
I think that's totally possible. I think it depends because Destiny 2 will be intensive because of the style. It's an MMO that it's going to take a lot of resources for Blizzard to be able to make sure everything conductively runs.
Personally, I think Call of Duty will, at the moment, the last couple of years, has struggled for market share. This year, they're definitely hyping it up, and it looks like it's going to be a big thing. Having said that, I don't think they want to sell themselves short by having it on a single platform. I'm thinking they might try and release it on multiple platforms on the PC.
But they might also bring it to the Battle.net / Blizzard client, and then potentially maybe give you bonuses if you get it through there, and then unlock it on Steam as well.
The thing that maybe makes that less likely than I might have originally thought is the fact that they are well known to reuse a lot of their code base between releases.
Yep.
And their code base recently on PC has been Steam.
Yep.
So
yeah.
And by recently, you mean the last 15 years.
Yes. That's exactly what I mean.
Yeah, so I think...
has it really been 15 years?
2006 was Modern Warfare, right? Modern Warfare.
That's 10 years. That's 10 years.
Yeah, I know.
So also, kind of a quick question for you guys. Do you think that Steam will have issues? Is this kind of... I'm not going to be so hyperbolic to be like, is this the end of Steam? Because
is this the end of Steam?
Yeah. But is
like
it...
in this hard-hitting expose, a pinch of salt covers the
downfall of Steam. But yeah, is it something that like we might start seeing more of a trend of people being like, you know what?
Honestly, competition is good. We've had Origin for a while. We've had Origin for a while. And
I think that's EA, isn't
that's
it?
EA.
That's EA.
Right. So you have.
It depends on if you count GOG and Humble as also being.
No, they are. I would absolutely say they are.
Yes and no.
It's not so much of a platform, but it's a different way to buy games.
Yeah, it's more of a way of buying games, less so than the actual platform itself. Yeah. But the point is, you have Origin, you have Uplay. I hate that I have to put.
Does anyone actually okay? Do you know anybody that has actually bought a game on Uplay?
Yes, and that was unintentional.
No.
I bought Far Cry 3.
No. That's not what I mean. You bought that through Steam, and then they made you play it through Steam and Uplay at the same time.
Yes. That also happens on Xbox as well. They're like, hey, do you have a Uplay account you want to sign into? Get extra bonuses. And I'm like,
okay, that's great. Let me guess. You can cancel that?
I believe so.
Yeah.
They just
on Steam you can't.
They bug the shit out of you.
On Steam you hit play, it launches the Uplay client, and then you have to hit play on the game again.
And you can't just play it through Uplay.
No, you launch the Uplay by itself. It goes, you bought this through Steam. You need Steam running.
Fucking people say PC Master Race, but I hear that and I'm just smiling.
This is the one game that I refuse to play in my Steam library because of that.
You hear about the disasters because they're so rare, Adam.
That is true.
Because they stick out. Mostly it's seamless and a good time.
Yeah.
You hear about the bad stuff because it's notable.
That is true.
Anyway, what was I saying? Do you know anybody that has actually just bought a Uplay game like from Ubisoft directly?
No.
And just uses Uplay to play it?
Maybe Watch Dogs, was that Ubisoft?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, no.
That's Ubisoft.
I would assume if that was on PC that people would be buying that direct.
I actually don't know.
I don't even know.
The thing is, I don't think a lot of those platforms are really going to break Steam's grasp on the throne.
Origin's trying, man. It's trying
but
real
but
hard.
But the thing is, again, trying is the very key operative word there.
Yeah.
I just don't think that you're giving people anything more. You're not even giving them the same experience on Steam. I think Blizzard Client, even though like Blizzard Client will be, then I don't think they're ever going to support third-party games, because the thing is, what they do great is cross-promotion, and that's because they're all from the same company or sister companies, and it fits in their ecosystem. But I think that people are going to be more likely to be like, oh yeah, I'm cool with that being on Blizzard Client because I already have it, because I play Overwatch or I play WoW or I play any one of the fucking biggest games on PC ever.
That is basically why my Steam library is so huge. Right? Yeah. It's because it's like, oh, well, I already have a Steam account and I will purchase that on Steam because I feel like playing it.
Yes.
Right? The problem that I have, so like I said earlier, competition is good, and I'm glad that there is going to be more push from Blizzard to do that. Having said that, there are a lot of features of like gaming infrastructure, if you will, that, how can I say this? It was a lot easier when everyone was on Steam, right?
Yep.
You had one chat client, you had one friends list, you had one DRM platform. You didn't need to manage multiple accounts. You everything just ran, right?
Yep.
Like right now, I have Blizzard Client, I have Steam, I have Discord, I have Messenger, I have Skype for business. I have Skype and Skype for business.
Well, I think that's why Discord is becoming popular, because it's just like, I can't rely on Steam Chat anymore because there's not one place.
But that's the thing, right?
So yeah, third party, which is something else.
But that's the thing, right? But you have all these, and chat is one thing, right? I'm just talking about all these different facets of, like, you know, like I said, like license management and that sort of crap, right? It's just becoming harder and harder and harder, and we're going back to the bad old days of like Ventrilo servers and having to Hamachi and having to write down your CD keys in a safe spot so you didn't lose them, and like, you know, oh hell, you know, shit, my disc is scratched. Oh well, I guess I can't play this game anymore.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, I've lost my account. I guess I have to try and recover it. Or what was my email again? You know, like.
Which is ironically why console gaming took off in the especially massively in like the late 90s, early 2000s, because everyone's like, I don't have to deal with that shit on a console.
But at the same time, now
there's obviously other problems, because consoles are almost drifting towards a PC model.
And now consoles are just like just more restrictive PCs essentially.
Pretty much. So yeah, there's definitely a big shift in the culture of both these platforms.
Having said that, the one thing I think PC, at least for the last 15 years, 20 years, has had over consoles is like, I can still put a disc in and install SimCity, right? That I bought 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and we've got a bag of old Super Nintendo cartridges over there.
Yeah.
That we can just put into our Retron and play anytime.
But I was more saying, like, you buy an Xbox One and it's not. I mean, yes, okay, they're doing great things with backwards compatibility, but it's not 100%.
Yeah, well, the thing is that's with generational consoles. It's like sometimes you lose the ability to. But again, that's the same.
Oh,
that's the same
yeah,
thing.
No, I get what you mean now.
But that is the same thing as the Retron, though, because it's still generational, and you're like, I still got to buy a third party.
It's still a console.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you got to buy a third party tool to then play your old games, because your old Sega Mega Drive doesn't work anymore, or whatever.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's sort of like the PC game is the self-contained.
It's code that runs on a computer.
Bundle. It's code that runs on a computer.
It's basically like, thank God that we've stuck with x86 for so long, basically.
Yeah.
I guess the thing is, if like for some reason we were to go to some crazy architecture, that wouldn't be the case.
Except for all those old PC games. Okay, story time with Carl from the old days of PC gaming. Old DOS PC games that actually used CPU cycles to time events.
Yep.
Space Quest 4, you know, the old point-and-click adventure game. I got that. Like, they just threw that through like a Sierra Adventure collection in with like a PC that my family bought when I was young. It was a 486, so, you know, pretty quick at the time. Space Quest 4 was unplayable because it used CPU cycles for timing, and everything just happened immediately. You would just die.
Really?
Yeah, because it wasn't just timings though. It was like events.
Yeah.
Right? So like where you would walk through the game and might get like 2 or 3 events. This one, it was like, oh, you've now spent 68 cycles waiting. Here's another event.
No, yeah. So it was like it's like the first area of the game is like a post-apocalyptic wasteland, you know, and there's like dangerous things walking around. So if you linger too long on a screen, like a death robot will show up and shoot you, and that would happen immediately.
Yeah. But I'm sure now probably even would it be even quicker if you played it?
DOSBox.
You have to use DOSBox.
So DOSBox. But again, that's the thing, right? Like someone wrote a program which might not necessarily have been for games, right? Just to emulate a DOS machine, and it works.
Yeah,
and I can still play my games.
Yeah, that is true. Okay, cool. But also, quick little segue from we were talking about physical versus service-based gaming. So Xbox have actually come out with I think it's pretty positive because I think they've kind of done it a bit better than PlayStation's offering of PlayStation Now. So they came out with their new program called Xbox Game Pass. And that starts on June 1. But for people with gold, you can play it right now. So they're going to add more games and more services.
So Adam,
now you've got 100 plus games. Basically,
have you checked it out?
I have gone through the announcements and I've gone through the games lists. I do know. I haven't got it yet.
But you have gold, don't you?
I do have gold.
So why haven't you checked it out? You're doing us a disservice here, man.
I need to pay. Pay another $10 USD a month on top of for Game Pass access.
Oh, it doesn't.
No.
I'm sorry.
You do get 40. There is a 2-week free trial, so I might actually sign up to that.
Can I also just jump back and say that that a lot of these services like this jumps back to our Smashed Avo conversation, right?
Yes.
Like when everything is as a service, right? When you're starting to spend $60 a month on this sort of shit,
it's like more bills.
Yeah, gym membership. You know, Netflix. Now you've got Xbox Live.
Yeah.
You've got
World of Warcraft.
World of Warcraft.
Oh yeah, or you actual service-based games.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do get it.
Whereas like, you know,
buying an $8 game is a once-off expenditure.
It is, and also, you can not buy that game, and they make it a lot harder to get yourself out of these things than they do allow you to get in.
Yes,
I found. So,
so I'll be interested to see where this kind of thing goes. But basically, they've brought in a whole bunch of games, and they've said for $9.99 US, so it's like 15 Australian, maybe a bit less, maybe 13 Australian.
Let's call it 30. Let's call it 13.
13 Australian a month. You can play their range of games as much as you want while that game is in the in their catalog. So they it's very similar to Netflix. When they take something out of the catalog, you can't play anymore. When you can, blah blah blah.
Okay, that sounds theoretically fan-fucking-tastic.
And the great differentiator between that and PlayStation Now, because PlayStation Now have the same thing. PlayStation Now costs like I should get the number up, but it's like $70 a month maybe. Like it's a because I think they kind of thought you won't buy games, you just have PlayStation Now each month. That's what they thought, but then the library isn't big enough, and it's streaming.
Yeah.
So you stream the games through PlayStation Now, which means
AKA unavailable to Australians.
Yes, exactly. Back to our high-speed internet issue. Let's get fucked, everyone. We're not going to be able to do that here unless you have NBN. And even if you have NBN, probably still not going to be a great experience.
Even if you have NBN, the servers are in California, so have fun with 200 milliseconds.
Yes, so it's not going to work. But so this one is you pick the game from the library, just from the store, and then you download it.
I don't actually know where the servers are. I'm just guessing California because that's where a lot of them are. Okay, so don't pick me up on this.
Carl, I think you were supposed to say this main server is in Tokyo.
Fuck
I think
off, mate.
You're wrong. What are you doing?
Sony obviously has a moon base, Carl. That's where the servers are.
What am I doing? I'm shooting from the hip. I'm spouting shit on the internet. You know, that's what we do.
But yes, so they've got this service coming up, which to me looks great because you download the title, you play it as much as you want. The one thing I'd be interested in seeing is if that title goes away, whether you still have that game in your library. I know, Ryan, you raised a very interesting point of being like, well, what if I love this game? What if I just love it? And I want to buy it.
If you love it so much, why don't you marry it?
Yes, I want to marry this game, and I want to marry forever and ever.
This game with my wallet.
Yeah, I want to marry this game with my credit card and create beautiful Xbox babies, so I can play this whenever I want.
Exactly.
If it gets taken off the catalog, they actually have. I was looking through their terms of service and all their announcements.
So before you jump in,
yes,
the reason why I asked this is there is a game very close to most of our hearts, which is which was Scott Pilgrim vs. the World.
Yes.
Now, this was an Xbox Marketplace game, Xbox Live Marketplace,
Yep.
back in the 360 days. And you could purchase it, you could play it. It's just a beat 'em up, lots of fun. Then it was taken off the marketplace due to third-party licensing issues with the music and the soundtrack.
Yep.
So here's the thing: if you didn't buy that game, you can't get it. Basically,
Yes.
If you did buy that game, you still have an access to it through your Xbox Live account. You can
Yes.
still download it onto a new Xbox, machine, basically
Yep.
anywhere you want. The point is, you bought it, you own it. That's your license to it. You can continue to play it. right?
Yes.
The problem that I have with this is like, okay, cool. That means I can get, excuse me, let's just say 200 games, that are on the whatever they call it.
It's still the same Xbox store.
Yeah.
The same thing.
But what if I like the game, right?
Yep.
Does that mean that I can't buy it anymore?
So the game is on the service itself, and as far as I'm aware of, it when the game is added to the Game Pass collection, it means that if you have Game Pass, then you can download and play it for free while it's in the collection.
Well, for your X a month.
So
For X a month, for X, yes. So you have to pay anything else, but the game will also be on the store. If you want to purchase the game because you really like it and you're thinking, well, maybe it's a limited run, because they might actually do that. They might say, well, it might be up for launch and you can get a taste of it through your Game Pass, because they might be a bit nervous about putting the brand new Halo game up for people who are effectively already paying their money. They're not getting any extra revenue. So they might say for the first 5 weeks of Halo 6 coming out, they'll put it in Game Pass and then it'll go away. For those titles, they will give you an up to, depending for each title, because I've been looking through the different ones, a lot of them, you will get an up to anywhere from 10 to 20% discount if you have Game Pass and you want to purchase the game in full through the store in case it goes away. So they'll give you a discount towards the full.
I wonder if that's gameable.
I have several questions.
Maybe. Depends on what you want to play.
Okay.
Yes.
Time for questions. Time to...
Question time with Carl.
Question time with Carl. That's right. You said while it's on the store an awful lot.
Yes.
During your description of this.
Yes.
While it's on the service.
While it's on the service, yeah.
Yes.
How often are they intending to rotate games?
I don't know. They haven't really been. They said yes, games will be switched in and out, but
so it might just be because what I would want from this sort of thing is very different from what they're actually offering. But I would have thought that where they'd be going with this is they have not necessarily the bleeding edge of games, but like the stuff that's the stuff that's maybe a year old.
Yes.
And that's
so what they've got, and you are right. From the games list they have here, most of the games are actually 360 compatibility titles, which I believe. I don't think they'll be changing them up.
Yeah.
Like all of Rare Replay is on here.
So I know that Netflix,
BioShock.
I know that Netflix
is on here.
Netflix.
Yeah.
Often cycles their content, but that's not by choice.
No,
that's because they do
happens
licensing deals, and those deals go bad.
And the thing is, well, there's a lot of third party, because I think a lot of people like EA, for example, you're not going to be able to see the next Battlefront game on here because EA have EA Access, which is their version of Xbox Game Pass, of service-based thing. So a lot of people be like, no, we don't want, we're going to be actively against this because we've got our own service model for that, and we don't want Microsoft competing with us.
I'm already disappointed.
Yeah, this is kind of where I was going to bring up Netflix again as the prime example, right? So you mentioned licensing deals going bad. It's not so much that they go bad; it's just that the companies
they don't go bad. They expire.
Well, that's the thing; they expire, and then what happens is the companies that own the content have, in that time, built their own service model.
Well, I think that's the thing that happened with Supernatural on Netflix. They're like, we're taking it down. I think because it's owned by Fox, I think.
And then Fox is like,
we've got our own streaming service. Our own streaming service, so we're not going to fucking license Supernatural to Netflix now. Yeah. We're pulling that deal.
I can actually see a crash coming in the TV streaming market because once every distributor has their own service, none of them are going to be worth the money.
But that's the thing.
Yeah, it is already very difficult.
And that is the thing, right? And that ties back into what I was kind of
saying
cable TV
all over again.
About what was I going to say? Gaming infrastructure and stuff, right? It's the same problem. You have too many accounts, too many services. If you only wanted to watch one show on a service that you're paying $10 a month for, who cares?
I've done the gaming equivalent of that. I bought a PS2 so I could play Final Fantasy X. I bought a 3DS so I could play Pokemon X.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing that like there's a lot of original programming. Like I know a lot of comedy. There's a online streaming service in the US called CAESURA, and they're basically like from the ground up. I don't think they had many actual licensed shows. They have a few, but not too many licensed ones. So they went out and they went to they got a popular podcast, my brother and me, and they were like, hey, how about you guys make a TV show for like equivalent of your very popular podcast, and they made a comedy TV show. I mean, they got these other people and were like, we need original programming to drive people in because
Netflix is doing that as well.
Licensing costs money. Yeah, exactly. Netflix does it.
Netflix's shows, right?
They do great. They do a really good job because they spend like billions of dollars. They made $1 billion in a month.
Yeah.
Last 2 months ago. Like, what the fuck? Like, they go, yeah, fucking, we're going to put on better productions than a lot of Hollywood movies in how much they spend on Daredevil, how much they spend on Luke Cage, that whole Marvel series.
Orange is the New Black.
Orange is the New Black.
I think BoJack Horseman is them as
BoJack Horseman is an original as well.
Okay, that's all. Okay, that's all well and good. And Netflix might actually be the ones that survive because their original programming is enough to carry it by itself.
Well, they have the original programming and they have the market, right? This is kind of where Steam kind of exists because Steam has a lot of popular IP of their own, as well as the
Valve.
Part,
you mean?
Sorry, Valve. Yep. And they have the market, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So I kind of see them doing very similar.
But I mean, it's just the world of inconvenience, you know?
Yeah.
It's just the world of inconvenience, you know. It's like I just want to be able to.
But a new technology comes along and everyone jumps on and goes, "This is a fucking great idea. We're all gonna make one." And then you get,
and then it just ends up as a pile of shit. And then you end up having to pay more because you not only have to do these subscriptions, you also then have to subscribe to a stream aggregator so you can all have it through one service. I don't even know if those things exist, but they're gonna have to soon.
But the thing is, then that's the way the market has always.
And then you've got cable TV 2.0. Well done, everyone. You fucking ruined the best way of watching TV over the internet.
Either two things happen, that there becomes one winner, like Netflix wins, or someone basically effectively wins, and everyone else is relegated to very small status.
I see Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon surviving.
Yeah, and then everything else, everything else gets purged.
The problem is that some of the players have too much money to fail.
Yeah,
at this point.
Or if we get into a situation like that,
exactly.
Then the market gets overbloated. And then we have something like how streaming came and killed off cable TV. Something will come along and just be like, okay, we're going to do this. And then streaming services just start dropping because there's a new innovation. There's a new thing and a new market gets created. So it's happened before with firstly TV and then TV because it got killed by cable. And cable, well, not so much in Australia, but like especially everywhere else effectively where cable is like the only real thing for TV.
Here in Australia, we have Foxtel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that really never took off to the one there.
But then
streaming came along and fucking murdered off cable TV. And
the thing is, what happens with all these services as well is that they become comfortable. So they go, we don't want to push the boundaries because that might not work. We want to stick with what we know, right? Regular TV is doing that right now and has been for the last 20 years with reality television, right?
Yep.
Every free-to-air, at least in Australia, has some reality television, except for ABC, which is, I'm getting to.
They have reality TV.
Do they?
Yeah, they do.
Yep. Oh, well, there you go. Then never mind. Everyone has reality TV.
It's not like
it's not like The Bachelor, but it's like they have quasi documentary reality show kind of thing.
Well, anyway, the point is so they're like, okay, so reality TV works.
But the difference is it's structured like a documentary as opposed to
it's effectively reality TV show,
as opposed to here's some drama, ad break, here's some drama, ad break, and then at the end of the episode, here's what you actually tuned into to find out.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, right? So I mean, like in the 90s and stuff, you started seeing stuff like Survivor and or even like Big Brother.
Well, that was early 2000s, and that was because of the writer's strike. That's how it became big, which we only narrowly...
really?
That's why reality doesn't require show writers. Yeah. That's why reality TV became big.
Yeah.
Because the writer's strike.
But that's the thing, right? So free-to-air focused down on that.
Good job, writers.
Right.
You fucked us.
Then you have your cable TVs who channels who focus on content, like mainstream content, right? You have the generic family sitcom. You have the generic comedy show that just shows up and coming standing, common comedy guys.
Yep.
You have the kids channel, which shows, random hilarious cartoons.
Yep.
Right? Adam, can you just edit in like a laugh track here?
Yeah.
No.
And now what you're seeing
no.
is you're seeing stuff like Netflix, who are starting to push the boundaries, right? They're starting to release shows that might have been pitched to regular TV channels.
It wouldn't have worked.
This isn't going to work, right? And some of them are working.
To be honest, Orange is the New Black, perfect example. If you tried watching an episode, like one episode, and stopping, the show is meant to be binge watched.
Yes.
Because, to be honest, it does not have a compelling enough episode to episode plot to keep tuning in.
Yep.
If you want to binge 5 hours, everyone's like, fucking greatest show ever. Watch one episode and stop, and then watch one episode another week later, like normal TV. It would have been cancelled like 3 episodes in.
Yeah.
It's just not compelling enough.
No, but also that it's risque. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's risque. It has like themes that you just would not see on television.
Fuck no.
Right. So all these things are pushing the boundaries, right? And some people are like going, "Oh, it's critically acclaimed. It's pushing all these boundaries, right?" But then at some point, I'm not saying it's going to happen in 5 years or 20 years or whatever. At some point, those streaming services that are building their own content are going to say, "This is what works for us. Let's push this envelope only."
Yeah.
And then something else is going to come.
Especially when more competition comes in, everyone's going to specialize more in it. You're going to get a comedy streaming service, a drama service, a this service. You're not going to be getting having a Netflix.
You already see it with AMC, right? AMC, Breaking Bad, The Walking Dead, Game of Thrones, right? Oh, they have all these epic stories, and then
fucking kill me now. Yep. I can't think of anything worse. I don't want to have to pay 50, and I just don't. Yeah. I mean, I'm even questioning if I'm getting my money's worth from Netflix at the moment.
I know I am.
I know I am, and I know my parents are because they watch it more than I do.
Yes.
As a casual scrub TV watcher.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything worse.
I
just want a service that I can subscribe to for a reasonable fee and be able to catch up on stuff that's not necessarily bleeding edge, but
the problem that I have with Netflix, right? And this is the biggest problem for me, is that I'll be like, oh, I feel like watching Terminator, right?
And it'll
search Terminator. It has Terminator 1, it has Terminator 3, Terminator Salvation.
2 is not there. Why? Because it's the best one, and someone already bought the rights to that a long time ago.
They're like, fuck Netflix. This movie is a great example of our cash cow. We're just going to keep that one to ourselves.
Yeah. No, not even that. Like they probably sold the rights. Somebody probably came along a long time ago and said, "Hey, we want to buy some Terminator rights," and they went, "Okay, cool. So these are all the prices for our movies for all the rights." And they went, "Yeah, everyone's favorite is 2, so we'll just take that one." And then you end up with Netflix being like, "We'll take everything else." Yeah. I guess.
But yeah, so they don't have 2 and they don't have Terminator.
Let's watch Terminator Genesis, the best Terminator.
And it's the thing is, it's not even that, right?
I can't think of anything worse.
Marvel shit isn't even safe either. It's like, oh, okay, cool.
It's like Marvel selling to Sony X years ago.
But that's the thing. Like,
Spider-Man.
I can watch Captain America: Civil War, Captain America: The Winter Soldier,
but not the original.
Not the original Captain America. I can watch Iron Man 2, Iron Man 3.
No, I'm
not a man at work. So it's like great. I can't watch.
But they are the earlier movies, and they probably sold them off to other broadcast companies. Yeah,
drives me bananas.
It's
so annoying.
That's the issue that we get with service-based gaming, and that's how we're even seeing it with bringing us back to Game Pass. Is that a lot of the things they're going to be like? Well, they've even said, "Well, listen,
let's talk about a series that you love." What if, okay, let's say let's talk about a series that you love. Let's say in the future that Nintendo also puts out a service-based offering. Let's say that due to Capcom being assholes, you can get Mega Man 1 and Mega Man 4 through 6, but not Mega Man's 2 and 3.
Yeah, you'd be like, okay, why? Funnily enough, as you mentioned that, Game Pass actually has the Mega Man Legacy Collection on there.
Yeah, well, I know it's kind of a moot concept because it's already got that.
No.
Or you can
would suck.
You can play Sonic 2006 and Sonic Boom,
but 1, 2, and 3,
and Shadow the Hedgehog.
Shadow the Hedgehog, but 1, 2, 3 and Sonic Spinball and CD. No.
Yeah, you'd be like, it's
Thanks,
good.
Guys.
It's really good. I mean, I love playing Sonic the Hedgehog like everyone else, but I don't know how I can feel about that.
Sonic Unleashed.
Fuck man,
what
such bad games.
Should we talk about the upcoming Sonic game?
I think we're running out of time today. Actually,
Okay.
we might have to
Come back to
hold
that
that
next
for a new because that's actually coming out pretty soon. I think.
Yeah.
After
So is
that.
Crash. New Crash is coming in soon.
Ooh,
Looking forward to that.
That'll be next. That's 3 weeks, isn't it?
Yeah.
Something like
That
that.
might be
3 or 4
not
weeks,
next
yeah.
podcast.
All right,
but
okay. So
maybe
let's do a
table that for
quick
next time.
hype wrap. What are we hyped about?
StarCraft Remastered, Crash Bandicoot, and that's me for the year.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
3 weeks. I've got the Final Fantasy 14 expansion coming out.
Yep.
I'm gonna resubscribe to that and check it out.
Awesome. So is that what your So I actually want to start very quickly because we have a few minutes left. That starting recommendations. So if you've got anything for the audience to like, you say this is what I like. You should play this. You play this board game. Listen to this album.
Okay.
Do this thing. Just one.
Just one?
You one recommendation.
Okay, fair enough. And
The people have got to do everything.
this comes out following up one of our recently
Yes.
released series. Okay, so I mean, I love couch co-op games, right?
Yep.
Nintendo made their name basically releasing stuff like Mario Kart and those
Mm-hmm.
sort of games. Like couch co-op is a lot of fun. Ultimate Chicken Horse is
Yeah.
the most fun I've had in couch co-op in a very long time.
Cool. All right.
And
better than Party Saboteurs.
Well, yes, better than Party Saboteurs personally.
Oh, big calls.
Party Saboteurs is a green light game though.
Yeah.
Fair. There's a lot more production.
Is it actually out yet? I haven't checked in with it for
I don't know.
ages.
Anyway,
I mean, I still have the beta, and it's great as it is.
anyway,
Like,
the point is that would be my recommendation.
Okay, cool.
Check out Ultimate Chicken Horse. They're on Steam. I think they're on console.
it's
as
on
well.
it's on every console.
And we've got episode. We had an episode release 2
Yes.
days ago, as of when this gets released.
Yep.
So check that out. There'll be another one episode coming, and then
We have a bonus episode of
we
like
have
an
a
hour
bonus-
of footage.
We just kept playing. That's how good the game is, and so there's extra footage coming as well.
Cool. Carl,
Well, I already talked about board games, so
that could be your
I
recommendation.
mean, I'll just say like if you want to play an MMO that's not WoW but is kind of like WoW, you should play Final Fantasy 14.
Cool. Okay. Well, with the new expansion coming up, that
Yeah.
should be a bit of fun, especially with the new Red Mage cards. I think you said they were introducing.
Well, I mean, everyone's going to be playing that.
Personally, I love Red Mages as well because they're fences, man. How could I not love that?
So, I mean, everyone's going to be playing that initially. Well, everyone that's
cool.
damn it.
Yeah.
whatever.
Well,
Keep
and
going.
my recommendation is I've actually been listening to a really cool album that one of my mates got me onto. It's by a rapper named Logic. His album came out recently called Everybody. Really cool album. It's very. You don't have to be a massive hip hop person. Like, it's very. It's not pop. It's not like a. Pretty much, I'm gonna say it's not like a Drake album where it's like very pop based. I mean, he's one of the best pop rappers at the moment. Like, you know, exactly. Like, he's got the memes, man. that guy's meme game is strong. But yeah, so it's definitely not like a pop rap album, but it's very consumable for everyone, and that's the whole point. Is it that it's a very very positive album, and it's a good album. I'm not gonna spoil anything. It's got a really cool. Like theme running through it where Neil deGrasse Tyson does monologuing as God. It's pretty awesome.
As God.
Yes, it's
Nice.
pretty great.
You realize the inherent problem contradiction with that.
Yeah, well, no, it's actually no. The thing is, it actually does address that. That's
Okay, cool.
I won't ruin it because it's fucking awesome. I listened to it and I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. But yeah, check that out. It's very cool. Songs are great.
I might actually give that a listen. Neil
Yeah.
deGrasse Tyson's one of my favorite, one of my
very
personal
cool.
heroes.
Very cool. And they've got some really cool songs on there that go from like sung to upbeat hip hop to like more hardcore. It's really good. Anyway,
All right.
that's me. So thanks guys for listening this
For
far.
making it this far into
Making this far.
our inherent ramblings.
And yeah, so if you like this podcast, please give it a positive review on iTunes if you're listening through there, or like and subscribe. So you're up to date with every podcast that we release. You'll be able to see up in your feed. Also on YouTube, if you also like this, please comment. Let us know if you actually have played any of our recommendations or listened to them. Hit us up.
Or if you have any comments on the topics that we've talked about here, or if you have any suggestions for future topics.
Yes. Also, yeah, great. And also leave like and subscribe if you're not already subscribed, so we can see more of our stuff. And we promise it's really good. And I think that's it. So
And SoundCloud, we love you.
and SoundCloud. Yeah, that's why I usually listen. I actually do listen. I listen to this podcast on iTunes, which is via our SoundCloud as well. So I listen. Okay, cool. So yeah, it's really good service. So check that out too. So yeah, thank you very much, guys, and we'll see you soon.
Catch ya, bye.
Okay, bye.